It's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll, you want to rock and roll?
Good evening, race fans. I'm your host, Caden Reif, and welcome back to another installment of the 2008 season of the NASCAR Coca-Cola Cup Series. We're here from Darlington for race number 3 out of 36. It is the Food City Rebel 400 for the third round of this brand new season. Bit of high bank and narrow racetrack action here tonight. Bit of classic racing coming your way here from Darlington. And we take you to the racetrack after last week's winner, Jimmy Johnson, in the 48 car. He's going to start on pole here tonight, right back where he left off in the first position. And to his outside, it'll be Kurt Busch in the 01 car, starting in the second spot. Robbie Gordon will be in the third position in the 31. Tony Stewart start this race in fourth. Kevin Harvick will be in the fifth position. Juan Pablo Montoya in the 84. He'll be in sixth. Ricky Hendrick, P7 in the 02, side by side with his teammate Brad Keselowski in eighth. Ninth goes to Carl Edwards, and Matt Kenseth will round out the top 10 here tonight. J.J. Yaley starts in the 11th position, and defending Cup champion DJ Kennington in 12th. Casey Mears will be P13, with Casey Kane in the 14th position. 15th place goes to Jeremy Mayfield, and Scott Steckley will be in the 16th spot in the 23, the rookie. Greg Biffle, 17th, and 18th goes to Dale Earnhardt Jr. 19th will be his teammate Ryan Newman. Jamie Murray rounds out the top 20 in the 40 car. John Andretti in 21st. In the 21 car, Jeff Gordon will be 22nd. Marcos Ambrose starts this race in 23rd. Eric Norris will be in the 24th spot. Elliott Sadler, P25, with Todd Cleaver in 26th. David Rudman will be in the 27th position, and Andrew Ranger, the rookie, in 28th. 29th place goes to Jason Leffler, and Shane Meal, another rookie, in 30th. 31st is going to be Bobby Labonte, winner of this race last year. 32nd will be Ricky Craven. 33rd place is Clint Boyer, and Boris said in the 06 this week. He's 34th. Todd Bodine will be P35. Scott Wimmer starts in the 36th position. Tony Raines, 37th, and Kyle Busch in 38th. Jeff Burton starts 39th. Rough qualifying for Scott Riggs in 40th. And rounding out the field in the back row will be Andy Lally in the 71 for TRG, and Casey Atwood in the 30 to round out your 42 car field here tonight. as we get set to roll here from Darlington. 100 laps is your race length here tonight as we take you trackside for the most famous words in motorsports. It's the command here from Darlington.
Drivers, start your engines!
Field roars to life as we get set to roll here in Darlington. As mentioned, 100 lapper here today. Jimmie Johnson, last week's winner at Rockingham. He's going to sit on the pole. Held off the late race restart over Greg Biffle. Dominated the later portion of that race, and he is right back where he left off in first. One driver many consider to be one of the championship favorites this year, but that is a long, long way off. Darlington is always a challenge for these guys on this calendar. As we've mentioned many a time, tire wear is important here. Keeping the race car clean is important here. You usually expect to see a wreck in the first 5 laps at this track. It's so tight, starting double wide here is such a big deal, and it is absolutely going to be paramount for these drivers to make sure that they survive the initial start here tonight. Jimmie Johnson and Kurt Busch, 48 and 01, two of the most winningest drivers in the series over the last 5 years, are going to start up front here tonight. With the 48, the winningest driver in the Cup Series since his debut in 2001, is going to start on pole here tonight. It's 100 laps here from Darlington. Expect to see some action, some thrills, and some spills. Pace car peels off on the left. It's first of 2 races at Darlington in the Cup Series this year. Johnson leads the field out of turn 4, and the green flag is waiting for it. Long hold here for the leaders, and we are underway. Racing off towards turn number 1. Johnson leads the field with Kurt Busch into turn number 1 on the start here in Darlington. And there's the contact already. It's DJ Kennington in the 81 going around on the backstretch, and we have our first lap crash. Kennington goes for a spin, back facing the right direction. Everybody trying to collect themselves out of turn 4 on the first lap, yellow, and we are under caution right away. I believe it was Kenseth and the 81 of Kennington who got into each other off the start. A surprisingly small accident for our first lap, yellow at this racetrack, but it was Kennington who ended up being the one backwards, and it was a typical situation as we get a look at the replay here with 3 wide with 1 car in the wall out of turn 4, and it was Matt Kenseth in the 17. Just not quite enough room to survive out of turn 1 there. You see Newman darted off into the inside wall. Elliott Sadler also got a piece. That rough start to this race for Red Bull as Riggs barely skirts by that one as well. But an early incident brings most of the field down pit road, as it usually does at this racetrack. The leader, Johnson, will stay on the racetrack. Most of the cars involved in that incident come down pit road for repairs, although I do believe Elliott Sadler stayed out. Yes, he did. So an interesting strategy call there for Sadler, especially with the damage on the front of his race car. Kenseth, a lot of damage on that 17 car. He brings it down pit road. Be a long pit stop for him. But looking like it'll be Kevin Harvick, if I'm not mistaken, to have won the race off of pit road, as everybody gets their positions sorted out. Lap 1, yellow at Darlington. Not much a surprise at this racetrack at how little room there is to work with, but it's Jimmie Johnson in the 48 leading off of the pole, and he stays out to retain the lead. So we will be right back. It's intermission here in NASCAR and ESPN from the Food City Rebel 400. Back from intermission here at Darlington as we get set to go green. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car is going to restart in first after staying out. A handful of cars, about 6 or so of them, stayed out on that first yellow on lap number 1, but Johnson will be the leader. Carl Edwards in the 19 car will restart in the second position. J.J. Yaley in the 10 in P3. Fourth belongs to Ricky Craven. And fifth will be Boris Said in the 06, as back to Elliott Sadler in the 83 stayed out under that first yellow. Bit of damage on Sadler's car. Of course, he was one of the drivers involved in that first lap incident. We'll see if his straight line speed is okay with that little dent on the front of his race car. Made contact with the spinning 81 of Kennington. But every other car involved in that first lap incident did bring it down pit road. So Jimmy Johnson leads it down out of turn 4. Coming towards the restart box here with the pace car off. And lap number 5 here from Darlington, and we are back underway as Johnson. Not too terribly good of a start compared to the rest of the top 5, but he holds the lead off into turn number 1, and we are right back underway. Edwards up the back bumper of the 48. Sadler already dropping positions. He's potentially already falling out of the top 10. Not looking like a too hot of a start for this 83 car, who definitely seems to be down on straight line speed just a little bit. Battle for position as Johnson ended up yielding that top spot, and Carl Edwards in the 19 car has taken away the race lead, and J.J. Yaley in the 10, who has had the best pair of first races in this season, off to another strong start as well here tonight. He's in the second position now, and Johnson falls down to third. Holds off Ricky Craven for that position. A little bit of a jumbling at the front of the field, but Scott Wimmer, the Daytona 500 victor this year, he moves past that one of Craven and into fourth, and Kyle Busch had a real rough qualifying. He moves into the top 5 as well. And Sadler ended up electing to bring it down pit road, so the damage proved too much for the 83 car, and he's forced to pit. Get a check up on him and those damage repairs, but he is going to bring it back onto the racetrack. But everybody up to speed now for the first time proper in this race. Edwards currently the race leader, though he's got Yaley and Johnson right up his back bumper for second and third. Wimmer, the 5, lurking in the background in fourth, and fifth belonging now to Scott Riggs, who, thanks to staying out there, had such a bad qualifying and was side-by-side for dead last on the racetrack on the initial start of the race after they made it out of turn 2. But staying out appears to have been the move for Riggs, and of course it was so early that nobody who brought it down pit road took tires, and Riggs finds himself up a good 35 positions after the start of this race in the top 5. Yaley in that 10 car having such an impressive start to this season after 2 races. It is only 2 races, but after those 2 races, that 10 car, as mentioned, had the best start to the season so far. He is the points leader after just 2 Cut Series events, sitting in the second position. Johnson with a bit of a run on Yaley, however, and he is going to jump to the bottom and try and take away this second spot, and thanks to the ease of overtaking in turn 1, does it without a fight. Yaley down to third. Falling towards the clutches of Wimmer, really had a rough time around the outside there in 1 and 2. So Johnson and Edwards now all alone at the top of the table. A couple of cars who did bring it down pit road who have made a little bit of headway. Stewart's in the 6th position. Ricky Hendrick with a solid starting spot in tonight's race. Retained that. He's in 7th. 8th place belongs to Kurt Busch. Robbie Gordon is 9th, and now Kyle Busch falls down to 10th. But he rounds out that top 10. Or a setback there in a battle with Kevin Harvick for the 11th position. And Johnson got underneath Edwards in 1 and 2 that time by, and the 48 has taken over in the lead of this race. And Johnson, the pole setter, right back into first. Edwards and Yaley still second and third. Wimmer hasn't been able to catch up to these leaders just yet, though he is still lurking in fourth. Riggs as well, despite the tap to his left-hand door. Still looking like he's got speed as well, so it's once again 2 PPC cars in this top 5. Yaley still right on the back bumper of that 19 car. Hasn't been able to make the move for the second position just yet. But he's showing some promise here up the back of that 19. But Edwards a great 1 and 2, able to pull away from him. Stewart still steadily gaining time on the rest of this top 5. In that 6th position at the moment, and definitely faster than all of the cars in front of him right now. Johnson, not a great last time by, and second and third, Edwards and Yaley able to close up just a little bit. Of course, Johnson the winner at Rockingham last time out. Finds himself right back at the top of the table here tonight, takes his first pole of the season, which you would be interested to know that Johnson in that 48 car, that is his first pole since 2006. Johnson did not have a pole in the Cup Series in the 2007 season, despite the 5 victories to his name that year. So first time that Johnson has qualified on pole in over a season. And he finds himself at the top of the table early here in Darlington. A lot of things can happen at this racetrack, of course. We see a lot of comers and goers at this track, and early pace doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have clean sailing for the rest of the night. And it hasn't been without a challenge, of course. Edwards has led a handful of laps so far, and once again, putting the pressure on the 48 here coming out of turn 2, though Johnson able to fend him off just about. But first and second place still under a blanket here inside the first quarter of this race here in Darlington. And of course, for Edwards in the 19 car, it was not so hot of a start for him to this 2008 season. Had a better race at Rockingham, in which he finished, I'm not entirely sure, I believe it was inside the top 10. It was, yes. But of course, Edwards in that 19 car was one of the many, many victims of the early incidents at Daytona in the 500 early in the year. Had a rough start there. Better race at Rockingham last week, again, mentioned in the top 10. Good finish for him. Gained a lot of spots in the points. 22nd after 2 races. Almost had a move there, and Johnson for the lead going into turn 3. But Johnson, better spot to be side by side in turns 3 and 4 at this racetrack. And he once again holds Edwards off for the lead, and Yaley still lurking in third. And in fact had a fantastic 1 and 2 as he runs right up to the back bumper of Edwards here. Looks like he's going to be patient with Carl. And you're really starting to see that tire fall off here in Darlington. Lap times around 1.5 seconds off of the best times of the race for these race leaders. Best times are low 28s, currently running mid to high 29s. And once again, Johnson pulling away just a little bit in that race lead. It's that push and pull at this racetrack. It is so hard to run consistent here at Darlington. A lot of drivers say this is one of the toughest ovals on the calendar. And it is no surprise. But Yaley going to jump underneath Edwards here going into turn 1. And it's a 10 of Yaley who retakes that second position. So J.J. Yaley back into the runner-up spot. And now we'll once again see if he has anything for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Wimmer still 4th. Stewart has taken over 5th place for the moment over Scott Riggs, who, despite his rough qualifying, is really showing that he's got a lot of Sunday night speed. Johnson still comfortably leading this race. Will be a quarter of the way through this time by for Jimmy Johnson, completing lap number 25 at the line. So 25 down, 75 to go here from the Food City Rebel 400. And Johnson really starting to pull away from that 10 car of Yaley as he's starting to feel the pressure of Edwards once again. This battle for second place continuing. And once again, there you see Edwards underneath in turn 1. That a prime overtaking spot in this facility. And once again, Edwards back into the second position, but all this still taking place behind the 48 of Johnson, who continues to comfortably lead and has really started to open up a gap on this long run. But Edwards has a great car underneath him, and Yaley might not have the speed to hang with that 48 car at the moment. So we'll see if Edwards can try and run Johnson down again for the lead. You see Wimmer, Stewart, Riggs, and others starting to slowly close up on that 10 of Yaley, and maybe more. Johnson down the front stretch, your race leader. Not any lap traffic just yet for the 48. There are a handful of cars who will definitely be lapped if this race continues to go green. Just about the full length of the backstretch in front of the leader, Jimmy Johnson, right now. Long ways off, but still a lot of this race left to go. And right now, you're going to see Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car is going to make his first pit stop of the night. And he's the only driver in the top 5 to bring it down on lap number 29. Not a surprise given the fact that he stayed out under the first yellow flag of today's race, but Johnson will be the first pitter, and Carl Edwards takes over the race lead. And we see our first pit window open up right around that lap 30 mark. And Edwards, Yaley, Wimmer, and all of the rest of the top 5 are going to enter and follow suit on lap number 30, as Robbie Gordon in the 31 car is going to stay out and take the lead. Kurt Busch also remained on the racetrack, but it is a lot of front runners bringing it down pit road this time. Oh, and wrecking there! Crash off of turn number 4, and it is a big collection! Upside down is David Rudiman! Kennington's in it! Nowhere for anybody to go in the smoke, and they're piling into it! Kenseth is up on top of the wall. And the caution flag comes out, and this race just got flipped over on its head. Every Penske-affiliated car, I believe, was involved in that. Sans maybe Ricky Hendrick. And that was a big crash out of turn 4. And that just flipped things over. Keselowski involved in it. McMurray, the 40. 10, maybe 15 cars involved in that accident in turn 4. And what in the world just happened? So you're going to see the leader, Robbie Gordon, bring it down pit road. Should be free pass for a lot of these guys, as the leader, Gordon, brings it in. And we'll get a replay of that incident in turn 4 in just a moment. Nowhere for anyone to go in the smoke screen out of 4. Kenseth ended up with his back end in the catch fence. Rudiman ended up upside down. And a disaster in the middle of pit cycles here, just around the 1/3 mark of this race. So Robbie Gordon will bring it down pit road as we get a look at the incident that just took place out of turn number 4. Probably had something to do with the pit window that had just opened. And we may have seen some collisions thanks to cars leaving and entering pit road. And it appears to have been McMurray in the 40. Got help from Mears, I believe, in the 99. Yes, he did, and got into the wall. And nowhere for the 21 of Andretti to go, and he ended up in the fence. And here starts the collection, as it was Keselowski and Norris who got together, and then the pileup. And just that smoke screen there. Kane involved, Newman again. You see Elliott Sadler involved in it as well. And we are under caution for the second time here tonight. Robbie Gordon finds his way into the race lead. And a lot of cars are going to be trapped a lap down here. Lap number 33 at the moment for the leader, Robbie Gordon. Take you to intermission here from Darlington is the Food City Rebel 400 here on NASCAR and ESPN, and we will be right back. Back from intermission here in Darlington as we get set to go green. It'll be lap number 36 on the restart for Robbie Gordon, who steals away the lead after that wacky mid-cycle yellow flag. Greg Biffle in the 16, who also stayed out with him, he'll be in the second position. Jason Leffler catches a break. 00 will be in third. Jeff Gordon in the 24 will be in fourth. And Shane Meal, 47 car, will round out the top five. And it has gotten wacky here in Darlington early in the running.
I mean, when Shane Meal is in the top five, that's that's usually a sign that a race is, at the very least, entertaining.
It's gotten a little strange here in Darlington. Lap number 36 on the restart for Robbie Gordon as he takes the field out of turn number 4 into the restart box, waiting for the signal. The green flag is in the air, and we are back underway, and it is a great jump for Gordon over the lap car Sadler, as Biffle is quickly going to dispose of the 83 and move past, make it a clean shot to the leader in that second position. Down the backstretch and into turn 3 as Biffle off to a very good second half of that opening lap. Leffler clear. Jeff Gordon follows through. Kevin Harvick, one of the cars who's a lapper, racing for his potential lap back here. Right behind that 24, Shane Neal trying to clear this 83, and Elliott Sadler falling backwards in a hurry.
Little bit of a wide line to get that 83 disposed of there.
A lot of cars making moves. Very nearly contact as Bobby Labonte trying to go underneath of the 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. for position. And he will do just that. So, race for the lead continues now as we're back up to speed. Robbie Gordon, Greg Biffle, Jason Leffler, and then the 24 of Jeff Gordon and Scott Riggs was forced to bring it down pit road. So a rough break for the 57, who was having a good run up to this point in the race, but he ended up on the back leg thanks to that yellow flag, and now forced to pit unscheduled. Leffler underneath of Biffle in turn 1, and he makes quick work of the 16. Jeff Gordon going to have the opportunity to slip past as well.
Think Shane Neal might even take that spot too.
47 with a run, going to see if he's got the opportunity on the bottom in turn 3, side by side for the 4th position. Biffle trying to take advantage of the top in 3 and 4, and he will do just that. Another car down pit road, that is the 44 of Jeremy Mayfield.
Perhaps some issues with the air guns this week.
Hard to say. Robbie Gordon leading the field pass as Scott Riggs leaves pit road with the leaders. And right next to Shane Neal, rough break for that 47. He's going to fall out of the top 5. Almost got the wall in turn 3. Side by side.
Looks like spot. Maybe some teamwork right there as the 10 car might capitalize as well.
Corsielli is another car that is racing for his lap back at the moment. Same with Kyle Busch. They're both going to slip past the 01 of Kurt Busch, who got the wall there out of turn 2, kept it out of the 43. Almost some brotherly contact there in turn 2, but Kurt Busch manages to hang on to his race car after slapping the fence. But meanwhile, Jason Leffler, 00, is up the back bumper of Robbie Gordon for the lead, and he's going to go for it in turn 1. New leader, Jason Leffler.
Seems like turns 1 and 2 are the real passing zone this week.
Usually is at this racetrack.
Harvick might get his lap back the old-fashioned way.
In the lucky dog position right now is that 20 car. He now moves past the 31 and is now behind his Alliance teammate, Jason Leffler, the current race leader, who's got a comfortable lead now thanks to Robbie Gordon getting stuck side by side with the 16 of Biffle, who moves into the 2nd spot. Jeff Gordon moves past Robbie Gordon for 3rd. And Shane Neal,
I think Robbie just grabbed the wall a bit there.
Looked like it was close. Gordon and Neal side by side for the 4th spot coming out of turn 4. Robbie Gordon taking advantage of that advantageous high side there in turns 3 and 4. Much better spot to be on the outside on this racetrack, and he holds on to the 4th position. But Jason Leffler with a lap car buffer, Kevin Harvick, the Alliance teammate, in between him and Greg Biffle. He's got a comfortable lead right now.
I don't think there are many people in this field I'd rather be more than Jason Leffler.
Leffler taking advantage of the spot he's been given by that mid-race yellow flag. Kevin Harvick, the 20 car, closing up to the back bumper of him, trying to get that lap back. Biffle and Riggs, the lap car of the 57, Also close as well, the pair of Fords. Nearing halfway here in Darlington, it'll be lap number 46 at the line for the leader Leffler, as Harvick is going to make the move and try and get his lap back. Leffler's got to hope he can slot in between the 20 and the 16, but he's not going to be able to do it, and Greg Biffle steals the lead.
And we'll probably have it by a good margin as well.
Leffler able to stay in front of the 24 of Jeff Gordon. 24 and 31 in line, as well as the 47 directly behind that 00. You see another lap car in the form of J.J. Yaley, who is now the lucky dog holder thanks to Harvick on the tail end of the lead lap. But Biffle's sandwiched between two lap cars at the moment, who are both arguably faster than him at the moment. Riggs on the fresher tires thanks to his unscheduled pit stop. Might try to get a lap back himself. Down the front stretch, Riggs has been supremely patient with this 16 car over the last 5 or so laps. He's been on his back bumper the whole time. And there you saw in the back of your screen, it was Shane Meal who just got past Robbie Gordon. And 31, gonna maybe hold off that 10 of Yaley and the 01 of Kurt Busch here. Hold on to that 6th position ahead of the 01. But Shane Meal moves into 4th. Leffler seems to have regrouped well since losing the lead and isn't too far off of the 16 at the current moment. Still got that lap car Riggs in between him and Biffle, the leader.
Do you think it just might be a case that the 57 doesn't have the bite to make the move?
Hard to say. We see drivers be very patient at this racetrack, and uncharacteristically so sometimes. Of course, it is so hard to complete an overtake here, but both of the race leaders are going to get aggressive, and Biffle gets past the 20 of Harvick, and Leffler will slip past him and the 57 of Riggs.
2-for-1 special right there. Fortunately, he gained 0 positions from it, but
still an important move, as that means that he's got clean racetrack up to the 16 of Biffle, and he had a fantastic run out of turn 4 that time, and he's going to try to take it to the bottom and re-grab that lead, but Biffle covers him off.
just good, clean, hard racing here.
Halfway now here in the Rebel 400 as Biffle and Leffler first and second. Jeff Gordon in the 24, you saw he just wasn't quite able to get past either of their lap cars, so it's the 20 and 57 between the 00 and the 24. Shane Meal still lurking in the background, 5th place belonging to Robbie Gordon, but he's a bit of a further ways off. 6th is Kurt Busch. Clint Boyer found himself in a good spot. He's 7th. 8th place belongs to Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88. Jimmy Johnson has continued his recovery drive through the field. He's in 9th. And 10th place belongs to Juan Pablo Montoya in the 84 in this topsy-turvy Food City Rebel 400.
Juan Pablo Montoya. Montoya and Boyer are a couple of lone bright spots in what has not been a good race for Pontiac at all.
Harvick going to get aggressive with Leffler here out of turn 2. Force the issue in the middle of the corner. Leffler has to yield that inside line. Sure, he's not too pleased with Harvick making that move as they go side by side. And that's going to end up with Leffler stuck on that outside lane, and Jeff Gordon and Shane Meal are surely going to take 2nd and 3rd. And they will do just that, so the 24 to P2. Shane Meal, continuing his impressive rookie run, is into the 3rd spot in the 47 car.
I feel like a lot of people with Shane Meal, they view the idea of a first Cup win as a when, not if affair. That innovative team is really, for a brand new team from whole cloth, has really put together a competitive outfit even faster than PPC or Aikens have.
Yeah, it's been a real competitive start to their Cup Series campaign. I don't think we've seen just quite as much true winning speed out of this 47 that we've seen from the 10 and the 57. But for a team that was part-time last year and only ran 10-15 races, have had an absolutely stellar start to their first full-time campaign. Have shown pace, have shown promise. They had a lot of top 10, top 15 runs last year. And Shane Meal finds himself in the top 5, regardless of the circumstances. It is absolutely impressive. And the fact that he is keeping pace with multiple Cup champions, sitting on the back bumper of Jeff Gordon, a 5-time Cup title winner. It's been a mighty impressive run out of this 47 car here tonight. Robbie Gordon in the 31, underneath of Leffler for the 4th position, right behind this 47.
Another big difference we've seen from between this season and last is there just seems to be a little bit more of a field spread. Just in general. It seems like the faster cars just have a little bit more and the slower cars just didn't really find that extra gear.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen quite a lot of it and quite a few drivers having consistent competitive runs so far. Of course, it is only the 3rd race of the season. A lot of room left for things to change, and Jeff Gordon, 24, just disposed of Riggs in the 57 the last lap, and now slips past Kevin Harvick. And it's clean racetrack in front of the 24 of Jeff Gordon, up to the 16 of Biffle, and we might see a battle for the lead brew if this 24 can get up there. And Jeff Gordon has been very fast on the long run so far over the course of this green flag run.
Man, the speeds we see at most other tracks, you look at the speed, you look at the lap times and the average speeds that we get at Darlington, and you think it's not that fast. It's not. It's an old surface, so, but you blink and 20 laps have just gone by.
Yeah, you don't really take into account the fact that the lap around this racetrack in terms of length isn't as long as you might think. It is a pretty slow track in terms of corner speed. They do get up there on the straightaways, but laps are starting to tick away, and it's now 40 to go here from the Rebel 400 as Biffle and Gordon potentially closing in on a deadlock for the lead. But don't look now. Shane Meal in that 47 is staying within striking distance of this top two. We see our first pitters as Carl Edwards and the 1 of Ricky Craven hit pit road.
Do we got one more stop or 2 more in us?
Believe it would be about 2 more. We would probably have a pit stop around 10, even 5 to go, and we definitely will with the leaders pitting now. As Biffle and Jeff Gordon, the top 2, are going to hit pit lane once again. Robbie Gordon going to roll the dice and stay out long. Clint Boyer goes with him. But Biffle, the 16, the current race leader, hits pit road. Jeff Gordon, 2nd place into his pit box. Biffle a little bit further up the road into his, and 4 tires and fuel for the race leaders. And Biffle off the jack end away. Pretty good stop from that 16, all things considered. Definitely was a bit quicker than the 24's pit stop there. Gained a couple of car lengths on pit road. And the 02 of Ricky Hendrick has a tire down, but he did get to pit road. I believe this will be clean. Yes, it was. Pretty opportune timing for Ricky Hendrick. Has that tire come apart, and he makes it to his pit box.
I mean, talk about pushing the tire life to its limit.
Very nearly another caution flag, but he makes it to pit road. So Biffle going to breathe a sigh of relief, as does the 24 and the 47, as they get back going here. And they're going to be a long, long way in front of Robbie Gordon. That overcut really going to cost these guys a lot of time with the older tires. Lap car Bobby Labonte off of pit road as well. But Biffle right back into what should be the easy net lead. Jeff Gordon and Shane Meal not too far out, though, and it is going to remain a battle for the win here tonight at the moment. And there you see it. Lap car Jeremy Mayfield up the road on older tires with that unscheduled pit stop, probably planning to hit pit road in the near future. And he is right in front of these leaders. And here comes Boris Said on fresh rubber rejoining the racetrack. And Mayfield backing up the leaders big time here. Biffle's going to find a way underneath. Gordon and Shane Meal get stuck as Boris Said, and all of the lap cars slip on through. Contact between Gordon and Labonte. What in the world? And neither of second or third place have managed to find a way around. Jeff Gordon will go around the outside. That very well just cost him maybe 5 seconds on the racetrack.
Good grief.
And Mayfield's now got maybe 10 cars stuck behind him here in turns 1 and 2. You see the pace difference on the tires. Johnson goes on through.
I'm sure Mayfield's going to have quite a few people that are going to want to have a conversation with him after this race.
Especially this 0-0.
I mean, the pace difference is big enough. You might start to wonder, can he even get to the bottom to pit?
See that huge closing speed for Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, who ends up behind him going into turn 3. And Mayfield still has yet to hit pit road, has held up pretty much every single member of the top 10, except for the leader, as Biffle's lead rockets to 2 seconds thanks to the 44 car. And he is still falling backwards and has yet to hit pit road. And finally, we'll bring it down on lap 68. And you have to imagine pretty much every member of the top 10 is upset at that 44 car now.
But I think the 16 team might be giving him a fruit basket or something like that.
Definitely might, and he is now comfortably in the lead of this race. Jeff Gordon was lucky to get away with only losing 2 seconds, and matter of fact, continuing to make up time on that 16. So you have to imagine the 24 team especially has to be upset, because they might think that they have the faster car than the 16 of Biffle right now, but lost 2-3 seconds to the 16 from just 3/4 of a lap stuck behind that 44. And that just puts into perspective how much tire wear affects these races here at this racetrack.
You know, things like that are the kinds of things that get repaves, make repaves happen.
And the amazing thing is that Mayfield is going to rejoin the racetrack and be faster than everybody else on the track at the moment after he gets that fresh rubber, and he did just rejoin the racetrack there in turn 2.
Probably right next to the same people. Oh, he's going to rejoin right on.
Right, with Jason Leffler.
Yep.
Shane Meal loses third to Jimmy Johnson, who actually, despite the time he lost on the racetrack, gained positions on the track. He's moved into third. Just an absolutely mad recovery drive out of this 48, as he ended up around the 20th spot, thanks to the pit road woes and that yellow flag that came out right after he hit the pit lane. So it's third place for Johnson. He's about 5 seconds out of the lead, but Bobby Labonte in the 18 might have just got the wall. And he did. No caution, as looks like he was side-by-side with Jeff Gordon and got the fence in turn 3. So another lap car disposed of for Gordon in the 24, as he is continuing this manhunt on Greg Biffle for the lead. I hit a button on accident.
If Gordon can pull this one out, it'll be one of those drives we talk about for a long time.
And that's doubly true for his teammate, Jimmy Johnson, who was on the pole, dominated this race early, and is very clearly the fastest car in the top 5 at the moment, and is continuing his charge forward. He's got a long, long way to make up in just a quarter of this race. It's going to be 25 to go at the line for Greg Biffle, the leader. But he's not out of it yet.
I mean, we're talking about the guy that made up 39 positions in 10 laps at Pocono.
Kevin Harvick passed the 06 of Boris Said, who now falls into the clutches of Jeff Gordon. So another lap car, and you see the 24 made up another half of a second on the 16 in just that last lap alone. Jeff Gordon is a man on a mission at the moment.
Those are the kinds of lap times you only get when you're driving mad.
It's got just the 2 lap cars, Boris Said and Kevin Harvick, between him and the 16, one of which seems to maybe be faster than the leader at the moment in the form of Harvick. Might get past the 16 car in the next couple laps if he keeps stringing these laps together. Biffle just really seeming like he might have went the wrong way on an adjustment on that pit stop, but something doesn't really seem to be working right for the 16, or maybe it's really working right for the 24, because nobody else in the top 5 is making up this much time on the leader. Gordon still yet to find his way around Boris Said, the 06. Might have a chance here going into turn 1. We'll see if he sets it up. Gonna be patient instead. Just don't know if you really have the time left in this race to be that patient with the lap traffic. Might have not thought he had enough of a run to jump underneath in turn 1. Of course, it is such an easy spot to make overtakes at. But decided against it.
Even then, you put a nose under there, you turn him, congratulations, you get a caution.
Yeah, not only that, it would put the 48 car back in easy contention for this win. Which is probably something, even as a teammate, you don't want, given that Johnson had so much speed early in this race. But Said has really done a great job. The biggest thing for Gordon is this 06 really seems to get out of the corners well, and doesn't give the 24 a chance. You see how much better he is on entry. Let's see if he's got the chance to make the move down the front stretch this time. Still no opportunity.
It's actually something a lot of people don't recognize about Boris Said. He's probably one of the better defensive drivers in the entire sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gordon's still not able to find a way around him, has lost a couple of tenths. And matter of fact, Jimmy Johnson ended up losing the 3rd spot and even the 4th position. Clint Boyer in the 4 car has moved into that 3rd position. And Kurt Busch in the 01 continuing his strong run here tonight. He is in 4th.
You have to imagine this money stop is going to be a big deal. And the question that we all have to ask is, do you take fuel only? Do you take 2 tires?
19 car Carl Edwards is blowing up, and the caution flag is going to come out for the 3rd time tonight. You were talking about the money stop. It's out the window now. Caution flies for the 3rd time, and that changes everything.
Well, ain't that an understatement?
Kevin Harvick in the 20 car will be the lucky dog, and Greg Biffle in the 16, your leader. And that brings everybody else back into it. And everybody should be on an even playing field here. You would expect to see a final pit stop, and we will.
Do you take 2? Do you take 4?
At a racetrack like this, crew chief, I want 4 tires. Biffle leads the field down pit road here on lap number 83 under our 3rd caution of the night. Big easy buffer thanks to the lap traffic in between him and Jeff Gordon. So he should comfortably have the lead out of pit road unless we see some alternative strategy. We'll open your strategy window and see what the move is for the leaders here. Will be 2 tires at least for the 16 of Biffle. And looking like 4 going on, and they are. Biffle is away, and he will comfortably have the lead, looking like it's going to be 4 tires for pretty much everybody.
Yep. I don't think I'd want to be the guy on 2 tires out here.
Yeah, looking like pretty much everybody was on the same page. So, pit window is complete, and Greg Biffle will retain the race lead. Going to have the lap cars probably pit in for their pit stop this time. Kevin Harvick, of course, as we mentioned, will be the lucky dog. Take it intermission here on NASCAR on ESPN. It is the Food City Rebel 400, and things just got hot. You won't miss a thing. We'll be right back. Back from intermission here at Darlington as we get set to go green. Greg Biffle in the 16, your leader on the restart, and it'll be 14 short laps to go here from Darlington. Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, who was the fastest car in the entirety of the top 10, Restarts in the second position, right behind the 16. Boyer in third. Kurt Busch will be in the fourth spot, and Robbie Gordon will round out your top 5. And this is where things get racy.
14 laps, equal equipment. It's just a sprint at this point.
Pace car in. All the rubber's the same, no lap cars to speak of. Biffle and Gordon, the 2 leaders, out of turn 4. Coming to the restart here at Darlington, and we are back underway. And it is a great jump for the 16 of Biffle. Nobody gets side by side.
There was step 1 for Greg. He's probably got about 30 more steps to go, but...
Gordon down the backstretch in front of the 4 of Biffle. Everybody bumper to bumper as they head into turn 3. 24 trying to set him up. Coming out of turn 4. Has a run. Let's see if he takes it to the bottom towards turn 1. Gave it a thought. Didn't have the run to do it. Boyer applying the pressure. Down the backstretch they go. Jeff Gordon trying to set that 16 up, but Biffle's got a comfortable gap at the moment. And Boyer in the 4 car applying pressure on the 24 of Jeff Gordon down the front stretch. Didn't have the chance to make the move. Still no overtakes in the top 10. Who's going to blink first? Gordon trying to close up on the 16. Still has the 4 in the 01. Kurt Busch jumps underneath of Boyer for third. Not quite the end of the racetrack. He might want to make this move, but he had a great section. But meanwhile, Jeff Gordon has a run on Biffle. Still can't make the move yet. Boyer trying to stay in front of Kurt Busch. Couldn't quite do it. Top 2 break away. Coming to 10 to go this time. Greg Biffle and Jeff Gordon, the only 2 out front now. If they battle, it might pull Kurt Busch and the rest of the top 5 back into this mix. But here comes Jeff Gordon on the bottom of Biffle for the lead in turn 1, and he's got it. Jeff Gordon out to the race lead. Biffle holds off Kurt Busch for second, but the 24 takes away the lead.
But I don't think Greg is out of it quite yet.
Yeah, Biffle, that was key to hold off Kurt Busch and stay in that second position, and he's going to have a chance to counter back and run that 24 back down. Kurt Busch, Robbie Gordon on the frame as well with 9 to go. Johnson has moved into 5th. Boyer in 6th. Leffler is in the 7th spot. That's probably the extent of the drivers who still might have a shot at winning this race. But Biffle, with a huge run out of turn 4, pulls back up to the back bumper of Jeff Gordon, but none of the top 3 make a move just yet. Gordon with a great exit out of turn 4 that time. Pulls the gap to Biffle just a little bit. Forces the 16 to focus on the 01 behind him. Busch gave a look in turn 2, but couldn't get the nose underneath. Through turns 3 and 4, Gordon again pulling away out of turn 4 just a little bit. This might be the pace that we had been looking at from that 24 in the mid-run last time through. Jimmy Johnson in the 48, winner last week at Rockingham. He's lurking in 5th.
It's just that Biffle can't build a run because every time he tries to, he can only drive defensively. Tries to build a run too quickly, Kurt's just right under him. And
he's going to go for the move with 5 to go. Kurt Busch is trying to take away the second spot, and he's got it. Robbie Gordon will move into 3rd. Jimmy Johnson potentially 4th, and he clears him as well. Biffle down to 5th place. And now it's the turn of Kurt Busch. Johnson trying to find a way around Robbie Gordon for third place.
And I think we all know that Kurt Busch has a penchant for the dramatic.
Johnson will take over third. Biffle to follow him through back into fourth place. But Kurt Busch and Jeff Gordon are long in front of the 48 of Jimmy Johnson in third. He's got a shot if anything happens to the leaders, but Kurt Busch has a chance to steal it late here in Darlington. 3 to go at the line for Jeff Gordon, the race leader. Busch, the 01, up to the back bumper of the 24 here, out of turn 2. Does he have a move on Jeff Gordon down into 3? Not quite. Gordon holds him off. 2 of the sport's best dueling it out at the toughest racetrack on the calendar. Out of 4, down the front stretch. 2 to go for the leaders. And here comes Kurt Busch for the lead. He's got him. Kurt Busch steals the lead with 2 to go. That very well may be the race. Gordon gonna have to regroup and catch all the way back up from almost 10 car lengths. Kurt Busch, the leader, out of 4. White flag in the air last time around in Darlington. Out of 2, down the back stretch for the final time. Gordon too far out of it. Into 3 for the final time. Kurt Busch, flair for the dramatic once again here tonight. He's going to lead him out of turn 4. The 01 steals it. The target dodge back to victory lane here in Darlington. He wins the Rebel 400. What a finish here in Darlington.
Highway robbery. Where was Kurt this entire race?
Unbelievable finish here tonight, and Kurt Busch, the 01, steals it right at the wire. And it was just a perfect 3 and 4 that sealed the deal for the 01. And that is just how it goes at this racetrack. Set him up for 1. He ends up in a line that he doesn't want to be in, and he loses 10 car lengths on you, and you've got the race won. And that is exactly what Kurt Busch set up, and it worked out perfect for him.
The greatest act to come out of Vegas since Harry Houdini.
He's always got a knack for these big race moments. And Kurt Busch steals it here in Darlington. What a finish here tonight. And the 01 of Kurt Busch is going to victory lane here tonight. But that will do it for coverage here from Darlington. Food City Rebel 400 goes the way of the 01 team as Kurt Busch takes the victory here tonight. Next week, it'll be week number 4 for the Miller High Life 400 at Milwaukee. Kurt Busch, your winner here tonight. I've been your host, Caden Rife, on behalf of Braden joining me in the booth here tonight. Been a pleasure to have you along as always, and we will see you next time. Have yourself a good one.